Hey guys, welcome back to my garage. This week I'm going to talk a little bit about my last 3 weeks, some trouble I've been having with the project's steering column and steering rack. So let's jump right to it.
It's all about humanity.
Alright, if you watched the last episode, you may remember me mentioning the steering column and the steering rack. I have spent the last 3 weeks messing around with, replacing, and trying to fix those two items. Starting with the upper steering column. This is the steering column out of my 77 project. Unfortunately, I damaged it when I took it apart. We all make mistakes. I should have been looking at the good old schematic to find out exactly how to take it apart. I got a little ahead of myself, started pounding on it with a rubber mallet, and unfortunately I rolled the bearing race over, and now the bearing doesn't sit flush on this side. Also, this side was damaged. I don't think I did this side. And the reason why is because there are other telltale signs that this column has been out of the car, starting with the captive nuts are missing. Typically there are two captive nuts that sit right here, hold it up to the dash. Those were gone, and the original shear bolt was replaced with a regular screw. It should be a shear bolt holding that in for security reasons. The ignition, when you turn the key, it unlocks the steering column so you can actually turn the steering wheel. So that leads me to believe that either this car was theft recovery or they, for some reason, took out the original steering column. When they did so, they damaged the upper housing. I damaged the lower part of the housing. All in all, it's led to an unusable part. Luckily, my friend has a 78 Targa that he's parting out. He said, come on over, get the steering column out of that one. That's what I did. Here's the steering column out of his 78 Targa. It's exactly the same, with the exception, it actually has the captive nuts in there like it's supposed to. It also has been removed out of the car prior to when I removed it. Somebody had ground out the shear bolt and they left a little nick there on the surface. Not a big deal. The main thing I'm concerned about are the races. I did carefully remove the steering shaft this time. I'm good to go. Put my new bearings in, and that one should be fixed. The steering rack, I've actually put it away. I'm tired of looking at it. I believe the rack is bent. I spent hours taking it apart, putting it back together, putting new bearings in, and when I went to turn it all the way to one side, it would bind. Same with the other direction. That leads me to believe that the rack may have been bent. I took it out, I laid it on a table, it appeared to be bowed in the middle. I put it on a piece of glass, I could shine light through it. So it does look like the rack was slightly bent, and so when it goes through, binds on the ends. So what I thought I would do this week was go ahead and show you the Stoptech brake system that I picked up. Really happy with this. It was secondhand fine. It was brand new in the packages, but a friend of mine, Jason, bought this kit, decided to go a different route, and so he sold it to me for a little less than retail. I'll take it. First thing you notice is the sheer size. This is a 930 caliper, and this is the Stoptech caliper. Quite a bit bigger, hence the name Big Brake Kit for your classic air-cooled 74 to 89. Should fit on. These will fit 15-inch wheels despite the size, and that's what I'm going to use on my project car. Now this is my stock rotor, and this is the Stoptech front rotor, 20 millimeters versus 28 thick. It is slotted as well, and it's a floating rotor. The floating rotor basically allows for heat expansion. Your hub's going to be attached here to this floating portion. It floats on these rivets. You can actually kind of hear that it's loose. And then obviously the caliper clamps down onto the rotor. That's where the heat is. The heat doesn't quite transfer to this floating portion of the hub, and thus allows expansion when it gets hot. Also got the sport purpose pads. It's a bigger pad than even a 930 pad, I believe. It's quite beefy, as you can see. So that'll definitely be an aggressive, not quite, well, it is suitable for track, but more like purpose-driven street/track setup. Now, another interesting thing about this is the rear caliper. And like typical 911 fashion, it is a little bit smaller there. to account for the bias. There's much more braking force being put on your front than there is on the rear. I think it's like 60-40 or maybe 70-30. I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on that. Now, my friend Jason wanted to match the rear slotted rotors with the look of the front floating rotor, so he had this portion powder coated black, which I thought was really cool, as well as the edges. So vented slotted rotors. The calipers are obviously aluminum. They're finished in this nice gray. I believe this is their stage 2 kit, and it has an etched, probably laser etched logo in there with the red and black. Very cool looking. Should look really nice behind the wheels that I'm going to be running here. Does part of the kit comes with your stainless steel brake lines, high performance brake lines, and we've got the pad spring that holds the pad in, and then we have this contraption, which is the adapter for the 911. This will bolt onto the front spindle, and this part bolts onto the caliper, so that it orientates your caliper in the correct manner. All right, guys, well, that's pretty much the Stoptech kit. We're gonna keep it short and sweet this week. Check out AASE Sales, link in the description, as well as my buddy TI Porsche Products. You can find him at tiporscheproducts.com now. I think he opened up a new website. Check it out, I'll put a link in the description. I also wanna thank Andy from Work USA. He's hooked me up with the complete seam sealer and underspray gun and kit. I'm looking forward to showing you guys that. Should be in the next couple weeks here. We'll get the undercoat on at least my friend's car as well as my car in the future. I think you guys will enjoy watching that. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Well done.